welcome back to my channel. Today I am here to share a video all about books. So, a little bit different, but I have been super into reading lately. Little bit of a backstory. When I was a kid, my nose was always in a book, always. I was such a bookworm. I had kind of a rough childhood, and so I feel like reading was just an escape for me, and it was almost like a form of therapy, honestly. So I would go to the library multiple times a week. I was always reading. And then I had kids, and of course life got kind of crazy with little ones, so I got away from reading for a couple years. I've gotten back into reading recently, and can I just say, it has made such a huge difference. It is like the best form of self-care. I have a lot going on over here. I am a wife, a mom of 2 little girls. I am a full-time employee and a small business owner, so I don't have a whole lot of time for myself. But I've gotten into the habit of reading right before bed, and then whenever I get little breaks here and there, I will read as well, and it is just the best. It's been such a great like escape from all of the day-to-day stress for me, and it's something I look forward to every single day. So I've been watching a lot of YouTubers who are sharing book videos. My good friend Kelsey lent a book to me that made me fall back in love with reading, which I will share that with you guys in just a second. But yeah, it has just been great. So today I wanted to share with you guys everything I read in the month of April, what I'm planning to read in the month of May, and then I've got a little book haul to share with you guys as well. So let's go ahead and get started. The book that made me fall back in love with reading is House of Earth and Blood, Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. So growing up, I did not read a ton of fantasy, honestly, besides like Harry Potter, of course. But this is a fantasy book, and my friend Kelsey highly recommended it, and I went ahead and borrowed it from her. It is a beast of a book, so kind of a huge book to get back into reading with, but I loved this book. It is an intense read. It gets very intense very quickly. It's super fast-paced, and I just loved it. And this also made me fall in love with fantasy. Just the world building and all of that kind of stuff is fascinating to me. It like taps into my imagination, which I feel like isn't tapped into often enough. So this was great. This story is all about a girl named Bryce, and something huge and traumatic happens to her early on in the book, like in the first like quarter of the book probably. And then the rest of the book is kind of centered around this big event that takes place. There's some romance in here. The romance is like a hate to friends and then friends to lovers type of romance, and this is just an amazing read. I am on Goodreads now. I have the link to my Goodreads down below if you guys want to check it out, but I gave this book 5 stars easily. I knew like halfway through it, it would be a 5-star book because I could not put this bad boy down. There's Julia. Hi, baby. Mommy's filming a video. So yeah, I highly recommend this book. It was amazing. I got through it pretty quickly considering how busy I am. I think it took me like a week and a half or so to get through it. It is a big book. It's over 800 pages, and it left off on a huge cliffhanger. So of course, I cannot wait for the second book to come out in November. I will be picking it up promptly. But yeah, so this is the first book I read. The second book that I read is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. And this book, of course, I could not resist because everyone on YouTube who films book videos or shares books that they've read, they all highly recommend this book. It's a contemporary romance. It's a hate to love romance. It's a story about a girl named Lucy and a guy named Josh, and they work for the same company, and a promotion opportunity opens up at their company, and they're both going after the same promotion. This book had me laughing. It's just a very sweet, like, I don't know, funny, lighthearted read. So I really loved this one, and this one got 5 stars from me as well. I can definitely see what all the hype is about. This is a great one. It's one that I will definitely come back to if I need like that lighter, funny read or something like that. I can definitely see myself rereading this again. So a great book. The last book that I read in the month of April was The Four Winds by Kristen Hanna. I just finished this book a few days ago and I am still just like, I get very emotional thinking about this story. It's a very intense story. It's historical fiction. I read The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna as well a couple years ago, I want to say. Kristen Hanna is a phenomenal historical fiction writer. Like, oh man, I was just super, super, super attached to these characters. This book really made me feel grateful for everything that we have today. Electricity, plenty of food, just all that kind of stuff. It's just, oh. And the main character, Elsa, I could relate to her as a mom. She wanted to do everything she could to protect her children. This story takes place in Texas and California during the Dust Bowl and the Great Depression, and just her strength as a mother, and like, what wouldn't you do for your kids? I know for me personally, there's really nothing that I would not do for my children. I mean, you protect them at all costs, and so I could really relate to her on that level. Oh, it's just, this book had me sobbing at the end, honestly. It's a very emotional, intense story, you guys. It got 5 stars from me. It's amazing. It's so good. But yeah, it definitely, even when I think about it, I still cry. And I had a dream about this book like 2 nights ago. So it's just an amazing, amazing book. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend Kristen Hanna in general. The way she writes is just great, and this one was easily a 5-star book. So those are all the books that I read in the month of April. I feel like my hair is just like flying all over the place right now. But next I wanted to share with you guys a little book haul. So the first 2 books that I want to share are these 2 here. These books were gifted to me from Anita. So thank you so, so much, Anita. You are just the absolute sweetest and you are so generous. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate receiving these in the mail. Like, it was the best surprise ever. I am currently reading the first one, and I know I already love the first one so much that I will be reading these promptly. These were definitely on my list of books to read and books that I was planning to pick up, and so to be gifted these was just the best thing ever. And yeah, so these 2 books, it's Take a Hint, Dani Brown, and Act Your Age, Eve Brown. I am currently reading Get a Life, Chloe Brown, and this is all by Talia Hibbert, and it's the Brown Sister series, and they're romance novels, and yeah. I am very excited for these 2. So thank you again, Anita, for picking these up for me. I am so, so, so grateful. The next 2 books that I want to share are books that I received from my Once Upon a Book Club subscription. I have the link to Once Upon a Book Club down below if you want to check it out. But essentially what it is once a month you receive a box from the company. You don't know what the book is going to be. It could be a mystery book, it could be a romance book, it could be a historical fiction book. Like, you don't really know, and you don't know who the author is going to be or anything like that. They do give hints on the website, but you receive the book, and then you also receive gifts that go along with the book that bring the story to life. And these are wrapped gifts. It tells you on what page to open the gift at, and then they do give you like little reminders in the book to open your gift as well. So I got 2 books here in front of me. The first one I have is Aisha at Last, and this is by Uzma Halaluddin. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but yeah. And it says it's a modern day Muslim Pride and Prejudice for a new generation of love. So there's some romance in here and everything, and I'm just very excited. Like, look how pretty that cover is. I'm very excited to read this one. I think this is going to be one of my books that I read in May. So that is the first one. The second one that I have from Once Upon a Book Club is the X Talk, and this was their steamy romance box, which I think you can still pick up on their website. And this is a contemporary romance as well. I've seen this book all over YouTube, all over Goodreads. A lot of people highly recommend it, so I'm very excited to read this one as well. Next, I have books that I have personally purchased, and I purchased these from Amazon. I used actually our credit card points to purchase these books. But I could not resist. I wanted to pick them up. I knew that some of these I wanted to read in May. So the first one that I picked up is From Blood and Ash, and this is by Jennifer Armentrout. And this is part of a trilogy, and I believe the 3rd book actually just came out. but it's a fantasy book about a girl named Poppy who is kind of hidden away from society, and it's about a romance that brews, I think, between her and her bodyguard and everything. So it's gotten a ton of hype and a lot of like 5-star reviews on Goodreads and Amazon. A lot of book YouTubers that I've watched that, you know, I have similar taste to the taste that they have recommended this book. So I am really, really excited to read this one. I also picked up The Song of Achilles, and this is a book based on Greek mythology. It says it's a tale of gods and goddesses, kings and queens, immortal fame, and the human heart. So I believe there is some romance in here as well. It's another book that I've seen all over YouTube, all over Goodreads. And I'm actually fascinated by Greek mythology, so I'm really excited to read this one. I know it's a tearjerker as well. A lot of the videos I've watched have mentioned that it makes you cry, and so I'm really excited to read this one too. The third book I picked up is The One by John Marrs. I've heard John Marrs is a really great thriller author, and this is a thriller book. I don't read a ton of thriller books, but I do enjoy them. So I'm very excited to read this one. This is one that was also highly recommended both on YouTube and Amazon and Goodreads and all that good stuff. That's, by the way, where I go to like discover books, is I look at other people's like Amazon wish lists. I look at Goodreads, and then I also watch tons and tons of videos. I'm constantly these days watching book videos. But yeah, so that's the third one. And then I've got Fix Her Up by Tessa Bailey. This is a romance, and it's one that has also been highly recommended. A lot of people really love Tessa Bailey as a romance author. So I am excited to read this book. Yeah, I don't know a whole ton about it, honestly. I just picked it up because it's been highly recommended. So, and then lastly, I picked up Liberty. This was actually a book of the month book, and this one is by Caitlin Greenidge, and it's a historical fiction book. I honestly don't know a ton about this one either, but a lot of people said it's a kind of soul-touching, you know, book, and I like to balance things out a little bit with like my lighter romance, contemporary fiction reads, and my historical fiction and thrillers. Like, I love every genre of books, honestly. So I'm really excited to read this one as well. And then the only nonfiction, more like personal development book that I picked up, which honestly I've been kind of stepping away from personal development, but I could not resist this book. It's Winning the War in Your Mind, and it's by Craig Groeschel. And it's come highly recommended. It ties into scripture and faith, and that's what really drew me to this book. I am very open about this, but I've experienced a lot of depression and anxiety in the past. It's something I battle every single day of my life. And so the one thing that's made a huge difference for me is my faith. And so I loved that this tied into faith. And yeah, so I'm very excited to read this one. I will probably read this one during my work hours because this will count as professional development. So yeah, okay, so that is the book haul, and now I want to share with you guys what I am planning to read in the month of May. So as I mentioned, I am going to read this book during my work hours. This will count as my professional development for the month, and yeah, I'm very excited to read this book. So that will be one of the books, and then I'm gonna do, I think, 5 books. I think that's very realistic because the Crescent City book is over 800 pages. The Four Winds, that was close to 500 pages. So I read some lengthier books in April, and the books that I have are a little bit shorter. So I think I'll be able to get through them more quickly. So yeah, that'll be kind of my book I read during work. I'm going to read Liberty for one of my May books. I'm going to read Fix Her Up as one of my May books because I want to, like I said, balance things out with like the more serious stuff and then some like funnier, lighter reads. And then I'm also going to read The One. I just really am looking forward to reading a thriller book. So yeah, I'm excited for this one. And then I want to read this book, Aisha at Last. I just keep gravitating towards this book. I'm really excited to read it. I'm excited to open the little gifts that come along with it and everything. So that will be a book that I read. And then of course, I am currently reading Get a Life, Chloe Brown. I am about yay far into this book, and I definitely feel like I'm gonna finish this pretty quickly, but I will finish it in the month of May. So I'm gonna consider this one of my May books. So I've got 5 books. These are the ones that I will read for my fiction books. And then I'm gonna read this one during work and stuff like that. So yeah, so that's what I'm gonna read. And I don't know if I've mentioned yet, but I am subscribed to both Book of the Month and Once Upon a Book Club. So I've already ordered my May books. I noticed that they were available this morning, so I ordered them. And I picked 3 books that I'm very excited to read. I love Book of the Month because they review a bunch of books and then pick their like top 5. And I just feel like it's such a great way to discover new authors and all that good stuff. So and then also to like, you know, read different genres and kind of keep some variety going. So I have 3 books coming from Book of the Month, and then I have my 1 book coming from Once Upon a Book Club that will ship later in May. So the Book of the Month books and the Once Upon a Book Club book will probably go to June. I might like pick and choose what I want to read and everything from that. And then I'm gonna do something kind of fun. And for every 5 pounds I lose on Weight Watchers, because I'm currently on a weight loss journey. If you are new here, I'm on a journey to lose over 100 pounds. So for every 5 pounds that I lose, I am going to purchase a book for myself off of my Amazon wish list. And if you want to see what I'm planning to pick up, I do have my Amazon wish list linked down below as well. I feel like that's just such a great way to discover new books because it's got like the reviews right there and everything. So yeah, so I'm gonna, for every 5 pounds I lose, I'm gonna get myself a book, and that'll be like my reward, if you will. So I think that'll be super fun. And then that's where I'm gonna be getting the majority of my books from for my book hauls, is gonna be from my subscriptions and then from getting myself a like reward for weight loss and all that fun stuff. So, but anyways, guys, that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to catch all my future videos. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books, if there's any of them that you're like super excited about or that you're planning on reading as well. I would love to chat about it with you guys in the comments, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!